Today, Junior?
Did I stutter?
Poker face, poker.
Ladies and gentlemen of the
Jury.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Did I Stutter? I have a song stuck in my head. You know when this happens. And you don't know the lyrics, so you feel a little bit like your mom who's just kind of like, she's saying the wrong thing, you know? And she's like, everything you have is in a bag to your right, you know, and you're like, no, Mom, that's not it. But the song that's in my head right now is the Greek chorus from Hercules, Zero to Hero. They're the best, aren't they? Aren't they not the best? But I just don't know who got a fight to gladiator, Hercules. Right? It doesn't matter, man. I did too much neck movement too early for this podcast. Hey, why don't we start like how we always start, all right? Let's get to know each other a little bit by coming to see me live, as I am touring all over. I'm world touring, doing stand-up comedy, allegedly. Of course, it's all subjective. But I do stand there, and I say some stuff. So, in this upcoming venture, I will be in Tucson, Arizona, and then I will be in San Diego. People say it's La Jolla, but it's San Diego. All right, you know that. And then I will be in the Pacific Northwest. Okay, that's where a lot of serial killers were caught, and I want to make sure that it's all cleaned up there. So that's why I'm going. But I'll also be doing shows in Seattle. Okay, Seattle area, Everett, Olympia, Enumclaw, which is a word. I'll also be doing the historic Wilbur Theater. Ever heard of it? Because I think I'm saying it right. In Boston, MA, and then I will be in CT, all right? Just, you know the state. I have a difficult time saying that state. I know I've said it before, but today just feels like a day where I can't do it. So sometimes you got to know. You got to know when to fold them. And that's today for me with that word. So CT, all right? And if you don't know that abbreviation for the state, don't worry about it. You're not from there. I'll be in Los Angeles, California for the Netflix is a Joke Festival, performing at the Belasco Theater, all right? Which sounds fancy, and it probably is. I'm sure there's a 2 avocado toast minimum. And then I'm coming to Phoenix, Arizona. I will be in Canada. Canada. They do kind of say it that way. Keneda. Canada. It's a little like that. All right. And then I'll be in Buffalo, New York, because I'll imagine from this tour I'll have a lot of pent-up rage, and I would like to bar fight. And so I will be coming to Buffalo, New York, and then I will be doing Europe. I'll be doing it. Literally, Europe and I will be doing it. So think about that. There's my other sock. You can't tell, but there's my luggage off camera right now. And I did laundry the other day, and because I'm going through the motions of what I think a human man is supposed to do. My wife is not around, so I am just like, I'm grabbing handfuls of cloth, and I'm stuffing it in places. I'm stuffing it into a backpack for some reason to take it down to the laundromat. I don't know. Why am I doing that? I can't bear the thought of trying to appear like I can't bear the idea that I actually know what a chore is. I don't think I know how to properly execute it. And so, which is such a weird insecurity. Look at my shirt. I obviously, if you're in the podcast audience, it's my shirt that looks like Thanksgiving, like a gay Thanksgiving. That's what my shirt looks like right now. And so and those tend to be a little bit of a drag. Sorry, I had to say that. Obviously that's a drag joke. It's not real, guys. It's not real. Shh, okay? So because Mel is not here, I'm throwing stuff. It's like It's like when AI learns how to do chores. That's how I'm doing them right now. I'm like go 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 you know, it's a lot of that. And once I'm done taking a shit, then I do chores. Like AI. All right. Anyway, silly joke there, but the point is my other sock is hanging out of my suitcase off camera. That's always the best, is when you're doing a show and then you reference things that are not things that can be seen or heard. And I was pulling the clothes out of the hamper. Okay. This is me folding them. All right. And there was that one sock. There's always that lone sock. And you just get so mad about it because you did everything you could. You chaperoned a whole trip down. You watched it all the way down. You carefully put everything in. You checked to make sure that the container was empty. You checked to make sure that everything you put it in was full. You closed it. You put it back in. Everybody was accounted for. And then everybody just somehow clothes take a journey, man. They get lost so they can find themselves. And so that's what happened there. I see it right now. It's off and it's dirty too, because it's the other one's washed. So now they're fraternal twins. That sucks. You know when there's an ugly twin? You know that. Hell, even with identical twins, there's can sometimes be an ugly one. And you're like, how? Well, that freckle's a little closer to his, it's like that. So, I did another walk and talk this morning. I don't know what we call them, but they're my passer time, my habitual hobbies, okay? My Second Amendment rights infringing upon your internet ears. I don't know what it is, but when I'm walking around, all right, and oh hell, now I got to look up to make sure that that's the right amendment. I don't want to actually say that I'm just wielding a gun. I'm pretty sure that it is. Second Amendment. Oh, gosh, dang it. Oh, nope, that's not right. I'm sorry. I'm so mad at myself. I'm trying to just get this podcast to lift off, and I can't. I keep going backwards. I didn't mean Second Amendment. I meant First Amendment. First Amendment. Here it is. Free exercise thereof. Oh, freedom of speech. I thought it was like, I thought it was saying like free, you have freedom to exercise. I'm sorry, dude. This podcast is not as fun as I am having. I know that for you. But for me, I have to have it because I don't really have that much fun. But the idea of them writing a clause that says you have the freedom of exercise is so fucking funny to me. This was before gyms. So that means, you can just swing your arms in a park. Who knows? This was in 1776. I got that one right. You had the freedom of exercise. So, and then they just blow a whistle. Okay. So I don't know. I was doing a rant this morning, and that's what I'm trying to get at. All right, I'm ranting around our neighborhood. Okay. And I guess might as well just use this as a that's my gripe. Let's get into it.
That's my gripe. What the That's my gripe.
That's my gripe. I know that these rants that I do are not, they're not the healthiest of outlets. But for just everyone involved, okay? Me, my wrist, my heart, my neighbors, and their children. Everybody involved is kind of a little bit worse for it. And I'm not happy about the fact that I got so angry that now I do them. And you have to be subjected to them. Or you guys, I guess you don't, but I keep doing them. And today's today's was okay, it was about social media, all right? And basically, the gripe here is twofold, in that it's so real. I can't stand that social media is so manipulative to us as human beings. I mean, it was a way that connected everybody at first, and now it's gotten to a point where we don't know what's real. We don't know why we see certain things and why we don't. But it's just to the powers that be. It is our price that we are paying in order to be using it and to be connected by it. And also not connected because, again, there's times where certain things aren't even seen. And when you're in a position that I'm in, where a lot of my job is based on social media being a tool, which I think it's hilarious that everybody calls it a tool, since the user is the one that is breaking down. Literally, we're the ones that need to be fixed from all of the mental fatigue and welfare that is lost due to social media. And I just don't appreciate that it treats us like an abusive relationship. She's just like, oh, you didn't pay attention to me today? Okay. Well, no, it's okay. I found somebody else. And you're just like, what did I do? Or what did I not do? I thought you wanted me to also be happy. And it's like, well, you can only be happy with me. That's where you can be happy. And you're like, okay, well, I'm sorry. It's like, oh well. And then you start doing crazy stuff like you would do to get a girl back. You start to being like, listen, I got a tattoo of our first portrait. Remember when we got ice cream cones? I put our initials in ice cream cones and it's on my back. And it's like that. She's like, and then, she's like, I don't know. I like gym boys now. I like gym videos. And you're like, okay, I'll do that. What if I do something silly, like in the gym, right? She's like, well, you're going to have to post a lot to get me back. And you're like, okay, yeah, all right, back to square one. That's cool. It's fine. I'm just trying to, you're the best, babe. You and I together. And it just makes you do crazy stuff. And I don't like that you try to take just a little bit of time away to be a person so you can go try and talk to people about your experiences, right? Like if I'm a comedian, which whatever you think about my comedy, it doesn't matter. But if that's my job, and my job is to go have a life in order to be able to share it with people, but I get penalized for sharing it, or for not, if I get penalized for not constantly sharing it because I don't have an arsenal of experiences to draw from, then why is that a demerit, Why am I always working from a place of being gaslit? That sucks. That's something that I think has gotten so shitty with social media. And I'm an introvert, so I mean, I know that doesn't carry itself as an excuse. It's just socializing. I like to spend time by myself. I lose a lot of energy when I give a lot of time to my phone, or if I give a lot to a big group of people for a long period of time. I realize I'm describing my job, but those of us that are introverted and where it doesn't necessarily come as naturally to us, this is how we do it. It's Friday night, and I feel all right. And if I have built something for so long, like something on YouTube like this, or something on TikTok, or something on Facebook, or something on Instagram, and you think that you have a number of people that you're able to build based on your body of work that has led to hopefully an audience that stays connected, that you're able to continue to connect with, that are just not able to see some certain things because she's in a mood. That's crazy. And also, let's say if you figure that out, right? Let's say you figure out, okay, all right, I figured out how to love her. I know the love language that she wants. She wants X amount of videos. She wants to be able to do this. And this is just so people can see your content. This is just so your followers are able to see your content. Not even people you're trying to get from new. You're not even trying to get new people. You're just trying to get current people who currently follow you to see what you do. Okay? And let's say somehow through process of elimination or observation, you've been able to kind of just kind of deduce that from context clues of other people's accounts what it is that she wants. Once you start doing that, that's fine, and you got to stay consistent with that, right? And she holds you to that standard of just being like, no, but you said this is what you said, right? And so you do that. She can just change it. She can also just change it. She's like, oh, yeah, I like photos right now. I'm so over videos. I like photos. And also, I like to be able to just read tweets, but not on Twitter. That's what I want. And you're just like, okay, so now I will have to do this. This is something that is this is the necessary evil. And social media is not a good person. She's too insecure. She's too go with the wind, whatever you want, right? Whatever it is that she wants, that's what you have to do. And you have to do it. And so once they figured that out, that we are at their mercy, they exploit that. And they make it feel like we are the ones who are lucky all the time to be abused. We're fortunate enough to be abused. And how is that right? If I follow if I follow Brandon Rogers on Instagram and YouTube, I like his work. I followed him because I want to see it. Every time he has something, I want to see it. Let's not all pretend like we don't look at our phones 40,000 times a day. So if in one of those times that doesn't pop up, I can understand the issue of it being oversaturated, and the pandemic inflated that greatly. So I understand that the people we are seeing have to be the ones who are most, visible due to a certain topic or a certain amount of engagement, whatever that shoots through the algorithm, right? But I'm just getting tired of talking so much about what the algorithm is. Let's talk about the algorithm. And it's like, we're never going to be able to crack. It's not a binary code. It's not zeros and ones back there. It's a ratchet girl who with a shiv. That's what we're working with right now, okay? It's a scorned woman who thinks that you've been eyeing the waitress and you actually Postmates some food. Do you understand how crazy that is? That's how crazy she is. And guys can be crazy too, so just go the other way for whoever your sexual preference is. I'm not here to try and divide an audience. I'm just saying I've been in relationships where it's been like that, and you are constantly at the mercy of their mood, and you are at the whims of their trend, you know? Are they trending into a happy place? Are they trending into oh no, do they get affected by other things? And so, I just don't get the sense that social media is loyal to those who are loyal to it. And the gripe in that I was trying to share with you today on the level of that being first fold, here's the second. While I was filming, I almost said videoing, hilarious. Now that's a demerit on social media for sure. Now I've done it. I said videoing. She thinks a boomer is now popped into the algorithm. She's like, let's wean them out of here. I'm going to start getting a bunch of wine memes and ads for charcuterie boards. Thanks a lot, Drew, for saying videoing. I was recording myself today on my video phone. And, there was a guy who he starts like I'm far away from him, but I'm far enough away that he can tell that I'm talking into my phone, okay? And he starts walking his little dog, okay? Or the dog is walking him because it's ahead. And now he starts doing this thing that I feel is blatant, because I saw him quietly walk over. So I can assume that if he is not a crazy person, clinically, he would have launched into a diatribe prior to me seeing him. Okay, that's what a crazy person does. They talk out loud to whoever is not there, and it doesn't have a timeline. Okay, they have meetings that they have meetings on a calendar that no one else is able to access, okay? So this guy saw that I was filming and then started just talking loudly, but not really saying real words, okay? Just saying things for the purposes of being loud so as to interrupt what it was that I was recording. And I don't know if that was his way of securing a tactic that he could use to guarantee, like securing a guarantee that he will not be in my take. And I'm like, dude, it 100% is not about you. All right? It's not even about me. It's about what I'm trying to talk about here. Okay? This is for both of us, my man. All right? I'm trying to stick it to the man in the wee hours of the morning. I'm not here. All right? I'm going to peel off up the hill. All right? But he starts going like, da, 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 da. I've got dogs. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. He doesn't have headphones in, all right? He does not. Okay? So, and even if he does, he should get that checked out. But he did not. So he's just going, oh, okay. Oi, 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 oi. He's just like a kid who's just being annoying on the bus. The kid that when you say, do you mind being quiet? And they say, I know you are, but what am I? And you're like, that doesn't work. And then you punch them in the face. And that's the kid I'm talking about. But this was a kid as an adult man who somehow someone gave him a dog. And so he's going, da, 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 da. Loud, annoying sounds, okay? And I realize I am also loud and annoying, okay? But like one of our jobs depends on it. and I know that he's doing it deliberately, okay? This is why it's a little premeditated, and that's why it kind of pissed me off, right? If he's just doing that and he's passing by and he's enjoying his morning, fine, I'm okay with it, all right? Let's say he's going, like, if that's how you enjoy your life and you're just, you're gawking, doing dad arms, and you're like, ho, hey, whatever. Maybe he just knocked boots with his mistress and he's having a hell of a morning. Good for you, my man. But he's not doing that. Where I can tell that he's premeditated is I see him looking over at me and he's gone down the hill a little bit, all right? There's a little park area that has a dirt path, and I am up on the asphalt on the road, okay, just above him. But now he's walking parallel to the way that I'm walking. He changed directions to walk the same way that I'm walking. And so then I had to like stand there and like I stopped, right? Now, I'm not someone who's so entitled to all of the land to just say, this is where I'm going to film. Hey man, this is where I'm filming and this is a live set, right? We're in a hot set right now. Do you mind walking your animal in a different outside? Obviously I would never say that, all right? I'm reasonable. But the fact that he shifted directions and continued to just kind of say sounds, and then when I stood still, a lot of S words coming up here. Welcome to Did I Stutter, the podcast. When I stood still, then he also stopped his walk with his dog and stood still. And he's still talking to the dog. Or he's like, go into the bathroom. Ba-ba-ba-da. And just one of those types of people who are just making up songs because why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you make up a song in order to, you don't have anything else to your day. That's it. You just want to latch on to the energy of someone else. That is what a dumb extrovert does. Okay? And I guarantee you if you're somebody listening to this, I'm not talking about you. You might be extroverted. That's fine. I'm not saying that all extroverts are dumb. I am saying that someone who is a dumb extrovert does that. Someone who is socially unaware. You are either a dumb extrovert or you are a calculated introvert. And both of those are bad to me in that moment. That means you were dumb enough to be like, I have no idea what he's doing, but right? Which I don't think it was. I think he was someone who with intention, all right, and a little bit of premeditation was just like, here's one way I'm going to guarantee that I'm going to fuck up that thing. I don't want to be on his camera. You're not going to be on my camera, okay? Larry, figure it out, man. This, like, I just got the sense that he's like, no, I'm sick of these kids with their twitchy talks. No, this is not, okay? I'm an adult man trying to provide for my family here. That's all I'm doing, okay? I'm trying to feed this other woman like a fat side chick, all right? And by that, I mean she has multiple sides because you have to continue to feed her. And in order to, it's like I have an arrangement with my wife where she's like, listen, you can see her. You have to do what you have to do. And I'm like, yeah, I don't, like, that's the only way. The only way is to do this. I can't be a comedian in, like it's the early 2000s or the 90s where I just work on the craft. That's what I love. That's what I would love to be doing. Now, I don't mind doing these walk and talk, like these ranty sort of things that I go on where I just, I got stuff in my head and I need to get it off my chest. So fine. I like that. I like doing stuff like that. But the fact that it's forced you to do something that you could have really arrived at wanting to do on your own. That's where it feels kind of dirty to me. And the fact that he tried to disrupt that just really kind of like, rubbed me the wrong way. So look for a rant probably about that guy at a later time. Considering that is where we, considering that that's where we landed on that segment, let's get to a much more buoyant one, okay? Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a win in a fight? I know. You're like, Drew, how did you go from violence to another game that could seemingly sound more violent? And it is not that, okay? I promise, okay? It's not. In this particular segment, what we do every week is I compare two names or two characters, wrinkle, this is new, two characters for who would win in a fight, all right? I've had this debate with my buddy before, and I think I was in agreement with him. But then I watched both movies back to back here, and I think it changed my mind. So here we go. Who would win in a fight, Stuart Little or Remy from Ratatouille? These are the candidates here, and I'm talking cage match style, okay? This is to the death, all right? There aren't any resources. You're in a little cage, and it's a little cute cage, by the way, because they're mice. But I at first I said Stuart Little, because from what I remember, I just remember the boat scene being super epic. I mean, he had to like win a boat race and you know hoist a sail in order to beat a bully boat. Okay, but I just in rewatching it, I don't think that I could pick a mouse that irons his pants. Like, he kind of, the whole movie's a little hoity-toity, you know? Little hey, little ho, little high, little low, right? Little high, little low, little hey, little ho, you know? And then he slides down the railing, like, you know, he was a kid that was, he was a mouse that was adopted. And you feel like adopted kids, they would have a little more fight in them. You know, a little more of that, like I'll stab you with a pencil in order to get the toy I want. That feels kind of, you know, it's prison rules, I think, in an orphanage, okay? And it was a little chaotic, and then he was the one who's like, yeah, anyway, I've been here for however long. How are you? Oh, you're the littles? Yeah, well, I know this about this kid, and I know this about this kid. And look at my shoes that are tied. Okay, I think the difference between Stuart Little and Remy is that Remy didn't wear clothes. I would almost have to pick that mouse. And by the way, one is a mouse and one is a rat, okay? And I understand that Remy is someone who in Ratatouille is like, oh, it's all about the flavors, and he has a very particular palate, and you could make a case for the fact that mouse is, you know, is not as ratty as the other rats. Okay, he's not as hard. He's not as like as got as much grit to him. Okay, but also, I mean, and my wife pointed this out. He pulled a knife on his brother. You know, if you come in between him and ingredients, he pulled a knife. You know, he controlled a human. I mean, yeah, Stuart Little drove a car through Central Park, mind you. Okay, by the way, through Central Park in the 90s. This is crazy. That's crazy right there. That's crazy town. But he was also running from cats. Okay. Remy had the threat of foreclosure. Think about how much scarier that is. Oh my goodness. Financial pressures? That'll kill you. That'll kill you, man. And so Remy he doesn't wear bottoms, you know? I think he even at one point has a chef coat, but he doesn't have pants. And I get it. It's because, you know, the rats have that little squash body where it's like thin up top and real kind of hunky down at the bottom, right? But also, that's a guy who just doesn't wear pants. That's a whole other level of confidence. I feel like Stuart Little stops the fight because you ripped his corduroys. That's a different type of person. Okay. That's a person who points out that the rules should not be broken. And that that's the type of kid that's like, don't forget about curfew. And you're like, really? Why did you invite Stuart? Come on, he's my younger brother. Just let him, like, the only way I could come is if my parents said I brought him. That's it. That's that kind of vibe, you know? I don't trust a mouse that wears a vest. Okay? And let's compare the actors. I mean, you've got who would win in a fight? I know this is unfair. But in a part 2 of this, who would win in a fight? You've got Michael J. Fox versus Patton Oswalt. I think both are like different types of scrappy, right? So, I mean, they really nailed casting, but I think I'm taking Patton. Patton's got that whole other level of just that third rage gear that he can hit, you know? I don't know. Maybe I just don't trust a rat that knows his way around a kitchen, you know, that has multiple utensils and knowledge of those utensils on how to murder, probably, you know. I don't know. I just something about Remy's elevated palate too. Like I don't think there's anything special about Stuart Little other than the fact that he is a talking mouse. That's it, right? So you almost kind of think, okay, yeah, I mean, you know, you can introduce yourself. All right, I mean, and Remy can't. Obviously, he can't talk to humans. He can talk and we can hear them. But remember at the beginning of the movie where they outran a woman with a shotgun? There was an old lady who was just going apeshit on her own house with a shotgun. And they survived that. I mean, that's a modern day rapper rat. You can he retired for culinary. He went into culinary. He left that house to go into the art of cooking, not rap. And he survived being shot at. A lady who gunned down her own house. He went back for a book. He went back for a recipes book. That's the most gangster shit I've ever heard. He went back for a book? That's crazy, man. So I initially said Stuart Little. I did. Because from what I remember, I was like, man, this guy's, you know, he grew up in New York City and you know, slugging it, right? Slogging it in the streets of the Big Apple, okay? But Paris is almost the New York of Europe, right? And in fact, you could make a case that it's even bigger because there's other places in Europe that travel to Paris. So I think I'm taking Remy in this one, folks. I really think that's what I'm doing. I got a tattoo. A tattoo? I did. I got a tattoo earlier this week for my dad. Well, for my dad? Is that weird to say for my dad? It's on me, but it's for my dad. That's kind of weird, right? It's like saying I bought you an espresso machine, but it's going to stay here. That's kind of how it feels. So it's for him, but it's on me. And it was on me. If he bought it, that would be so funny. If I got a tattoo for my dad, but he bought it, then it would literally be for him, on me, on him. Anyway, it was for him because he got diagnosed earlier this year. And I always put the people important to me on my body. That sounds weird. I put my loved ones on, I put my family on my body, and I love it. Okay, let me fix this. People that have a spirit animal go on my body. Go all over my body. Okay, people that are animals. Animals go all over my body. That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. The people in my life. Okay, forget this. I'm going to get this removed. And not this segment. I'm talking about the tattoo. My first tattoo was a little love trinket with Mel, and it's hidden. You'll never know where it is. Don't worry. It's nowhere sexual, but you won't know where it is. And then my second tattoo was a lion piece. Okay, it was a lion. It's on my torso. So that motivates me to stay in shape. Because you don't want a fat lion, right? A fat lion, and just oof. You don't want to have a house cat at the end of the day. It's motivating to have it right there. That was my thinking. So somehow I'm going to be doing Russian twists when I'm 60. So that's fun. Anyway, my dad's spirit animal is my spirit animal is a lion, okay? Meow. My dad's is a bear, okay? He thought he was a shark, which is insane to me. He's only a shark in that he's unable to go backwards. He's not able to back down from a point that he's making, okay? That's pretty much the only way that he's a shark, in my opinion. Sharks are cold-blooded. They don't have, like, I don't know. They're killers. They're killers, and they don't think twice really about it. Okay, you can't be friends with a shark. I don't think. That's the thing. I don't think you could be friends with a shark. I think you could think you're friends with a shark for a while until you are at your most vulnerable, and that really could have been as simple as a paper cut. You opened an envelope wrong, and you went in for a swim, and now you're dead. Okay, that's what a shark is. And for some reason, my dad thought he was a shark, and I was like, "You're not a shark, okay? You're more of a beluga, and I don't even mean body wise. I just mean you're just there's a certain curiosity to you that I think is more playful in nature, right? And I think bears are like that. And never mind the fact that they are also curious. They're also predators. They have an interesting diet in that they'll pretty much eat anything. I mean, they can lounge as well. I feel like sharks are always on the move. I don't think my dad is that. He's someone who's like, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. There's a family that moved into the cabin just down the way. I'm gonna go see what's going on over there. That's my dad. Okay. That's who he is. So I got that tattoo. I got that, and it was 7 hours on the table. And let me tell you something. I strongly dislike when people who get tattoos say on the table, because it makes it seem like it's surgery. And maybe it is. Maybe it is surgery. It's definitely surgical. You look around, and it's the office has got the same makings of a serial killer. Okay, so there's latex gloves, there's saran wrap. It's Murderville. That's what it is. Okay, and there are so many. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll show people, but right now it's very beautiful. The artist, his name is Monty Siam, down at the Honorable Society here in Los Angeles. He's insanely talented with watercolor. And I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo where I am face down again. There's just a whole other level of vulnerability where you're just kind of, you're you're face down, and when when there's an amount of pain that hits you and you start writhing, which is the whole time, okay, then your body kind of tenses, all right, and then you go ass up. That's what happens. You go face down, ass up for your dad. And halfway through, I was like, what am I doing? Nope, this is not a good thing here. 'Cause that's the way I was for 7 hours. Was just a little tensed, but just enough where my pelvis is off the front of the table that my butthole is catching wind, you know? My ass is whistling because a draft is hitting it as it's in the air, you know? So uncomfortable. But I have to tell you about my I don't have to, but I'm going to tell you about my tattoo artist, okay? He moved to this country from Thailand as an architect, and he kind of wanted to get into tattooing. He hadn't really tried it much, you know. He was just like, I'm interested in it, and I'm going to bet on myself. And so he entered a contest where you have to submit like a piece of work on someone's body, okay? And he submitted, his very first tattoo was of like this beautiful, like this, the Buddhist, I'm blanking on what it's called, but the symbol for Buddhism, okay, on his wife's back, and he did her whole back. She gave him her whole back. Saturday and Sunday for 7 hours, 8 hours a day, up to 50 hours. So multiple weekends in a row just to do this contest, to hopefully get his name out there. And then he went, was here in Southern California, over 100 people, 100 applicants, 100 different pieces. They're walking around. They're not able to see, you know, why they're even here because of how much talent, how many different amazing pieces there are on different people. So he wanted to leave, and his wife was like, nope. We might not win, but I'm not staying to figure out that I'm not staying to figure out if we didn't, because my back is in so much pain, and no, it's ridiculous. And so when they announced that he won, it pretty much changed his life, you know? He got featured in this magazine, and, you know, got a whole new portfolio and some clients. And my point in saying this is, if I decorate on my wife's back, okay. 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 And I know my wife is not going to like the last thing that I just said, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. And it has to be a risk, because my wife can easily throw her wedding ring at me whenever she wants, which is the ultimate mic drop, by the way. I love that. I love that married couples get to do that, you know? Like, women, they have the ultimate exit line. They can take their ring off and say, well, you can have this back. And they throw it at you, okay? And and you're bound to look like an idiot. You're not going to go after. What are you going to? Are you going to go after her? There's $30,000 on the ground somewhere. You got to be like, you know, or however much, you know, I spent on a ring. I don't know how much a real wedding ring is. So I threw out $30,000. Is that too much? You know, when a Ford Taurus is somewhere on the ground. Sorry. But it's different, man. My wife's metabolism is fast. So she'll never have that fat part, that fat knuckle, okay? That fat margin, all right? Between her knuckle and the ring, where it takes her a second to have to, like, she has to twist it off a little bit. She'll never have that. Because she can have a sleeve of Oreos and that's her, like, her pre-workout. It's so annoying. And she'll be like, no, my abs aren't as... And I'm like, please, will you... Please shut up. Please stop. Please. You have an athlete's genetics, okay? There is nothing that you will die frail. You actually run the risk of dying. You can't even have celery. That's how skinny my wife is. She can't have celery because with celery, you actually lose calories by eating it, okay? That's how skinny she is, and in amazing shape she is. All right, me, I've been fat for forever, and so, me being the dramatic of the two of us, when we get into fights, which is rare, you know, I want to try it. I want to take off my wedding ring and chuck it at her, you know. Which I would also probably be the one who bends down to get because I bought this as well. But I don't know what a guy's line would be. What's a guy's exit line, you know? I think we need to do something to the door frame that you know, that is an epic. Like, you know, ours is just a door slam, right? We're done. And you just shut the door. That doesn't do anything. All right? You need to do something that makes her want you back. So what I do is on my exit line, I start to unscrew the doorknob. Yeah, I take out the doorknob, and then I slam the door. And she's like, "Wait, can you put this back together?" Which also doesn't work because my wife is the handy man in our relationship too. Like, I think I'm just realizing she's just better than me, and there's nothing I can do about it. She's just better. What do you want me to say now, guys? Now it's clear, right? She's gonna leave me, and she can take the doorknob, and then I'll be like, wait, and then I have to go on YouTube and look at tutorials where, you know, dudes who went to technical colleges do know how to put a doorknob back in, but they don't know how to use a lav mic because it's way too loud and I hear their mouth breathing all the time. How do we feel about the narcissist thing? How do we feel about that? When someone says like, yeah, oh, I was dating a narcissist, right? You know when people say this? Oh, I was dating a narcissist. Yeah, I mean, okay. Are you upset that they loved themselves also? Is that really... I think that's really what it is. I think when someone says, I was dating a narcissist, what they're really saying is I wanted all of their love. Me. Because you would you not want to be with somebody who doesn't love themselves? And I know there's going to be somebody who, you know, in the comments, or I get a message from someone who's like, actually, Drew, a narcissist is somebody who... Yeah, that's because you don't have a personality. That's why. Your whole personality is calling people narcissists because they actually have something to love about themselves. That's why. I'll say I'm a bit of a narcissist. Hell yeah, I am. I hang out with me all the time. I spent enough time with me to know that I love how much I hate myself. That's what it is. I, at a very young age, realized that not everybody's going to love me. So someone had to do it, and it was me. That's it. What do you mean? What? Like a leaf in the wind? Like a friggin' piece of dandelion pollen? I'm just going to be like, okay, here comes wind. Woo! I guess I'll go love that thing. I'll go love that person. No, bro. I'm a tree, dude. I'm a tree rooted in the ground, okay? People climb all over me, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, my whole family climbs all over me. I'm not doing that again. But I think that's why people who have people have an issue with the whole narcissist argument. And I was dating a narcissist. In what way? Just, I get there are toxic ones. But then sometimes there's someone who's the right amount of narcissistic, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm to the level of fair narcissist. That's what I am. I'm like I'll look in the mirror and be like, man, your skin looks clear today. You're still short, and the fact that you had pizza last night is showing, and you're disgusting. So that's my level, okay? And also, you have acne. That's literally, that's mine. Anyway, all right. Let's get to come on now. Let's get to another segment here. All right. It's about time. It's a bad vice.
Bad vice. Bad vice.
Lindsay says, what's a typical bedtime? Okay. Well, I don't know how that's going to help with your life. I will try to answer it because the segment has a song. So now I have to do it. But my typical bedtime is in between panic attacks. That's mine, okay? A lot of times, my wife is over in Vermont, and I am here in Los Angeles by myself. And that can be a good thing. Boy, can it. But in another way, that means that she is 3 hours ahead of me. And I have to time when I go to bed and when she wakes up in case I have panic attacks. That's how my sleep schedule used to be, by the way. Now, it's gotten a lot better because, I don't know, I take B12. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the difference is now. But my typical wake-up time is 6 in the morning because I like to greet the sun and have blinding rays hit my eyes. And in that way, you are not able to see how much your life is in shambles. So that's why when they say get sun in your eyes, that's what they're saying. They're having you blind yourself to your own shortcomings and your own failures. And that's what I would say is if you can really cater your sleep schedule to your own denial, that's a good way to succeed, okay? And then I go to bed late because I work at night and I am an obsessive compulsive type, okay? So my ceiling has holes in it from how many times I've stared them into it, okay? So what I do is I go to bed late because I like to be up working well into the night, because when everybody's asleep, I feel like a parent a little bit. I'm like, okay, good. Everyone is asleep, and now I can have a little bit of me time, okay? I just need a little bit of peace of quiet with the city and people and text messages and neighborhood dogs just shutting the fuck up so I can have one single thought. And when that thought is that I hate myself, that's when I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try to go to bed, because I guess there's no avoiding that, and I'll try again tomorrow. And then I wake up early in the morning, and the sun hits me in the eyes, and I'm like, okay, I can't really see or remember the failures from last night. So yeah, that's what I would say. So I would try to cater my sleep schedule around if you have a hot neighbor, okay? Because if you have a hot neighbor, you can check them out, right? And if you don't have a hot neighbor, they can check you out. It's a win-win, okay? That means you're the hot one, all right? And now you feel good about yourself, or they feel good about themselves. And so it's a give-give, okay? And you're a narcissist for even thinking that you should take this advice. But that's what I would do. I would wake up early and wonder why the hell you're up so early. That's what I do. I wake up early and I'm like, why am I up early? Why aren't other people up early? That's all it is. It's just me getting mad at people not being awake yet. That's why I'm up early. I like to feel entitled to the day. And I'm like, well, they have no idea what I've been through today. And then I throw it back in their face, all right? And then when they wake up and they get their day going, I take a nap. And they're like, wow, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, well, I've already been up for 6 hours. I've been up since 3, okay? And so now I take a nap at 9 a.m., which feels like noon, and then I'm ready for the back half of the day. And it feels amazing, all right? And then I go do comedy, and that's the first group of people that I talk to that day. And then after that, I check out my sexy neighbor through the window, which is actually a mirror. What's up? I'm a narcissist. And then I go to bed, and that's it. I would say cater your bedtime around the sexiness of your neighborhood. And if your neighborhood isn't sexy, then move, all right? Or find a partner and make sure that you populate the area with little sexlings, all right? So yeah, I guess that's what people call kids who are creepy. Sorry. I'm really sorry about how this ended. Anyway, this week we did not do our segment of the invention of phrases. I have so many more to share with you, but we didn't get to it, so that's okay. Next week, there will be a plenty. I love you guys, and we'll see you soon. All right, I'm coming to Tucson and San Diego, and, and Los Angeles, and, Seattle, and Phoenix, Buffalo, Canada, Europe. Oh, my God, he's going to all the places. Holy shit, wow.